I'm Roy, your friendly neighborhood East Coast aviator. I've had a passion for airplanes and adventure for as long as I can remember. Join me as I work towards my private pilot license and the stories that unfold along the way, embracing the chaos, one knot at a time. Top of the day to you, my friends, your friendly neighborhood East Coast Aviator here, and we're going to discuss a fun topic today, and that is your very first flight lesson. So, going back previously when we discussed the experience with a discovery flight, just as a refresher, a discovery flight is where you will meet a flight instructor, you will get taken up in an airplane, and you will experience what it is like to fly. They'll let you take the controls briefly to just kind of feel what it's like. Obviously, very guided. They'll likely show you local landmarks and some cool things. The idea is to get you excited and wanting to try and join their school and become a private pilot and beyond, depending on what your goals are. So, you've taken your discovery flight in this situation, and you've decided that it is indeed something, and it is the life for you. Awesome. Welcome to the journey. Now let's talk about what that first flight lesson looks like. So, what's it like to fly a plane for the first time? It is something that is exciting. It is something that you may be a little nervous at first because it is a new experience. But understand that the flight instructor is not going to let you get into any sort of trouble. The flight instructor is going to be ultimately in command of that plane at all times. Whether it be your first lesson or, right up to you start soloing and, the responsibility is solely yours, the flight instructor is going to be ultimately there for safety, and once you're skilled enough, you'll get to your solos, and then it's your responsibility to keep yourself and the plane safe. But that's nothing you got to worry about at this point because it's your very first. Now, you're not going to get thrown into doing barrel rolls or any sort of Top Gun, acrobatics or anything of that nature. Not how this works, but you do get to touch the controls on day one, which is pretty cool. You're going to get you'll feel that excitement. You're going to feel those nerves, but just take a deep breath, relax. And if you don't understand something, ask questions. Any flight instructor I've ever met has been more than happy to answer questions. It's their best interest. And, they genuinely have a desire to, help you with your journey and help you become a pilot. So, no stupid questions. Just ask everything. If you're not sure, hey, why are we doing this? What's this? They'll tell you what's up. So you're going to get on that day. You're going to get to your flight school. You're going to meet with the instructor. You will do a quick briefing on what to expect for the first lesson. Now, typically, the first lesson is going to be the basic fundamentals of familiarization with the airplane, but we'll go into that in a moment. So once you've had your briefing, you're going to learn how to do a walk around of the plane. You'll be following the pre-flight inspection checklist, and you're going to learn the pre-flight inspection basics. So you're going to see what you need to examine, why you need to examine it, and what you're looking for when you're examining it. When you do get to the point that you're inside the plane, you're going to be doing your first safety briefings. And that is going to vary, but it's important information to know, and you're going to do a safety briefing every flight. You're going to learn where the seatbelts are, how the headsets work, the controls. You'll see what the cockpit, looks like. You're going to see all the, the knobs and the switches, and you'll know where the throttle is. If it is a fixed prop, or if it is a, adjustable prop, you're going to see where the controls are for these things. You'll see where the trim tabs are and how to trim the airplane, the flaps, and, all that good stuff. You'll then get the flight plan kind of idea. So he's going to tell you, where you're going, what's going to be going down, and then a rundown on taxiing, and then basic controls and handling, and then returning. So once you've gotten through that, then the instructor is going to taxi to the runway. You'll hear your first radio calls. If you're at a towered airport, you'll hear the controls of the tower, or just calls to traffic as you approaching the runway. Then you're going to see what a pre-flight check is before you run up the pre-takeoff checklists. And then when you're ready, the instructor will taxi to the runway, handle the takeoff, explain to you the basics of a proper takeoff of the airplane, and you get that first big wow moment. When you first leave the ground, it is quite an experience, to say the least. Now, once you're in the air, the instructor is going to get the airplane trimmed, and you will then be told your controls. And you will respond with my controls, and you'll take the controls. The handoff is very important, so that there's no ambiguity over who is in control of the airplane. So you're going to learn straight and level flight. The very first thing you learn how to do, this is an important skill. It is not something you're going to master necessarily right off the bat. That's okay. It's your first day. You'll learn gentle turns. You'll get to feel what it's like to turn. You'll learn how to scan the horizon, looking for traffic before you do your turns and things like that. You'll get to have the feel of the airplane. It is not like driving a sports car. It's like steering a bus. You'll get it. The instructor is there to guide you. The instructor is always in control, but you're the one flying at that point. Once you have done multiple turns and multiple practicing of keeping the plane straight and level, and that means, in layman's terms, the plane is going at a straight point. So you're going to be giving a landmark. So for me, my first landmark was a tower. So I had to point towards a tower and, fly in that direction without deviating too far. On either side, keeping it level. The plane is going straight. You're not ascending or descending, horribly. Again, it takes practice. Your first day, you're not going to be expected to fly like, a pro. When your lesson is done, the instructor is going to take back the controls, and then you'll learn about approaches and landings. You're going to see how it all comes back together. And you're not going to land the first time, but the instructor will explain to you. It will take some time before you master the art of landing. Again, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Take your time, learn, ask questions. It is important, however, in most cases, to have a quiet cockpit at certain points. So the instructor will tell you sometimes to, no talking, for example. There's certain points they're going to concentrate on. But you see how it comes together. You get back on the ground. At that point, the plane will be taxied back to the parking spot, and you'll go through your post-flight debrief, which will involve going over what occurred during the lesson and all that. So it's a good chance to ask any last-minute questions before you go for the day. Now, at that point, congratulations, you've officially flown an airplane on day one. It is enough to get you hooked for life. And you know what? I'm going to be honest, my first attempt at taxiing looked like a drunken shopping cart. But, that's totally normal. And you do get the hang of how to actually steer and control the airplane. So that's it for today, guys. This is a brief one, but I wish I had footage, of my first lesson. Unfortunately, I didn't didn't have that back when I did it. So try it out. And you know what? Post in the comments below if you've got some stories to share. What was your first flight like? So once you've gotten your first flight done, if you haven't already done so, again, I'm not sponsored by Hangar, but I will just kind of throw this out here. They are running a live ground school course for 3 weeks. Good refresher for anybody who is getting to that point where they're getting ready to write the written exam. That is a much, further down the road than where you would necessarily be for this. But if you want to, get a bit of ground school experience and kind of see what, some of those early trip ups that you might find on a written exam are coming up, I definitely recommend you sign up for that course. So go ahead and click the link below there for that, and you'll learn a lot of great information from that. So that is it for this video. So stay safe, stay healthy, and embrace the chaos one knot at a time.